All right, let's talk about T3M4 from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. A friend of mine, customer, asked me if I could print one, 3D print one. And I said, sure, maybe, if I can find the files. So fortunately and unfortunately, there's work in progress. There's a Facebook page called T3 Droid Builders Group, and they have some files shared here. They have just all kinds of random stuff, actually. But buried in here, there's some PDFs of the body profile and all the leg profiles, everything, measurements and whatnots. So I used that as a reference. Let's see where to go. And then I found on Sketchfab, yeah, sketchfab.com, this amazing render, 3D render, made in Blender, I'm sure, or something like that. But it's a really nice design. So I modeled my design after this guy. So as much as possible. I'm not as good as this guy, whoever made this. It's amazing. And some of this stuff does not lend itself really well to 3D printing and a functional droid. So the requirement is that it has to be functional. Some of the features of T3M4 is he's got this little zapper here. His head rotates and tilts. These legs, the shoulder piece right here can rotate, so his legs can go in and out. And of course, he's mobile. So on YouTube, there's quite a few videos. You can see gameplay. I never played the actual game. I don't think I could get through it. It seems like a lot of dialogue. You see the head, how the head bobs. Some of this stuff is we may not be able to achieve, but see if we can get some of the other motions. There's Art sitting here arguing about something. A lot of dialogue in this game. Yeah, it's not the one. Let's try another one. This is not droid behavior. And of course, you can see just a little bit how his legs go up and down. And as he's moving, as he rolls, he kind of bobs. But that's not something we're going to be concerned about. We just need to make sure that shoulder joint moves. Let's see. A lot of dialogue, more dialogue. Another thing is the lights, the lighting of the eyes. Things we want to details we want to capture. The story of T3. Let's go here to the Wikipedia. He's a tech droid. Basically, he's a tech droid. So he has a zapper, he has a laser on top, he has an antenna. Of course, he's got the radar eyes and these two eyes here. A mobile platform, motor, motors in both hind legs, presumably some kind of wheels. And the front legs, rotating shoulder, rotating head, and the head is on a 3-axis platform that can tilt, like that. So what I have done is modeled him in Fusion 360 as best I can. Now I intended to 3D print this whole thing, but it looks small here in the screen, but in the game, his dimensions are almost 1 meter from top of the head to bottom. So that's, 37 inches approximately. So this body is actually from here. Let me get rid of this. Where'd it go? Where's this guy? So from here to here is 28 inches. So we got 25.7 inches. And then hopefully at least I got, and then 9, let's see, that may be, plus the wheels, the actual wheels would create some height as well. I may not have this neck height perfect. That says 8.6. So 8.6, let's do here. Right leg. Let's go from here to here. So that's 35 inches, 34.5 inches. And then you'll have the wheel cause about maybe another 2 inches of height. So pretty close. The neck height could adjust, but you know, we're hand grenades here, we're not precision. All right, so I was going to 3D print this whole thing. Then I decided, well, I can't really 3D print this geometry in one piece, and printing parts will not create a, just really difficult to print. So sometimes you just have to say, you know, 3D printing for the details, but use some traditional construction for strength. Let's see, body greebles. Let's see, get rid of some of this stuff. So I've got the body in 4 pieces here, right? And you can see inside there's geometry that, no matter which way you print it, you're going to need tons of supports. So even if you cut it up into pieces, it's just a support nightmare. And I'm not a professional designer, some of the stuff, like this lip right here, I don't really need that. I can print a flange separately, and we could put holes in the sides for screws, but this is for the axle. So anyway, this is a reference, sort of a reference drawing. It's not verbatim. So I have another drawing here. Let's see, I've been using this drawing to give me the sketches and whatnot for cutting the panels in the CNC router. So here, if I go to sketches, where is it? What happened? There it is. So I have these sketches named DXF. So basically they're copies of the base sketches without, like, see the dashed line? That's a construction line. I don't want that in my DXF because I'll have to delete it later. But anyway, what I do is I save that DXF and I open it in Carbide Create, the program I use for my Shape Yoko, and then I do the cutting from that. Let me open the right side. So we have a lot of reference geometry here just for information later when I need to make these angles on a table saw or a sander, so I need to know what they are. This line right here is from here to the edge is a pocket for assembly. So let me go get one of those pictures real quick. So that line represents this edge. It goes all the way around. Now the mating pieces, which will be right here, these guys, they will also have similar edge, so it gives you more room, more surface area for gluing, and makes your joint much stronger. So this thickness of this edge is half the thickness of the plywood. So that's how that works. And then we have holes, the holes I made on the side right here. Let's see, go back to this. Even though I'm going to be using a large PVC pipe, I'm adding a flange, or adding the capacity for a flange to be screwed in to hold, just extra strength around the shoulder area. It's optional, but at least I put the holes in there during the cutting on the CNC router. And then let's see, go back to this one. Let's go to rear axle, shoulder axle. Where's shoulder axle? Yeah, that's it. So here you see the axle, right? Now, the flange I'm talking about is this guy right here. This drawing is not complete, that it doesn't show the mechanism that's going to allow this whole leg to turn. So that's what the flange is, to support this pipe. It's a PVC pipe that goes into the shoulder. So it'll be bolted to the side of the body, and the pipe will mount. Maybe it'll be a bearing. Maybe the holes could be for a bearing. I have a design for a slew bearing. Let's see, where is it? Here's a slew bearing. Right? So you can use this bearing. It's parametric, so you can change all the parameters. And this ring could have the screw mounts all the way around it, and then this ring would attach to the PVC pipe, glue, whatnot. And let's see. So then, a mechanism goes through this whole thing, and perhaps a pulley will rotate it so the arms will stick out in front. So that wasn't modeled. I got kind of reached my limits with CAD skills on this guy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm kind of a beginner, so, and all these faces are they're just facades. They're just these will just be carvings into the. So the way this works is, let me go back to my picture. This is the structure. So on top of this will be probably 1 millimeter or ½ millimeter styrene sheets, and those styrene sheets will be cut out with similar profiles, but not all of them. These screw holes will be countersunk, so the styrene would lay on top of this. I'm not really sure why they use styrene. Styrene's kind of difficult to, I guess because it's white, I don't know. But I haven't tried it yet. It's difficult to laser cut. I'm going to try, but if not, then I'll use the CNC router again. Oops. Let's see what else. So in my shell, okay, in the body you see all these cavities for components, right? Greebles in here. These are panels. I decided to cut them out so I could 3D print some highly detailed greebles or do something interesting with them. I don't think I did this one. I did this box, but not this one. I didn't. If you zoom in, you see this beveled edge, or this You'll see this in a lot of sci-fi designs. Go here, where is it? You'll see it here. See that? See that edge around here? So it's just, this is called agreeable. It's just detail design. This is agreeable. Now in the, I did cut this hole out, and I did cut this hole out so I could give it some depth. Because if you look really closely, he's got some, it's got some detail in here, right? And it'd be real nice to capture that kind of detail. You can 3D print it on, maybe a resin printer or whatever, FDM. But you see, it does have a depth. It does have depth. So I wanted to capture that, and the skin will be styrene, so I'll use a smaller bit to basically carve these lines around the holes. So I'll do a cutout of the hole, but then I'll do another little line around this. And that detail I haven't fully fleshed out. So right now I'm focused on the construction. And if you look at this body panel, this body has this, I don't know, blue area is raised up above the body. So this will be a thicker piece of styrene that's glued on top of this, or printed. It could be printed. I don't think I'm going to print a lot of this stuff. These parts will certainly be printed, but a lot of this stuff will be styrene. Flat styrene is apparently easy to work with and easy to paint, I suppose. These will be printed. Actually, I have the design for the whole leg. It could be printed, but I'm not optimistic about the strength because this is empty space in here. Of course, you could print it and fill it. I was actually thinking about printing it and filling it with epoxy. Not really epoxy, but resin, 2-part resin. Or, I guess even polyurethane pour-in foam would do the trick too. Gives it a lot of strength and lightweight. So the guy I'm doing this for, he's skilled in all those things. So this little panel flaps up and down as he's moving. This could be a fan. We could actually make that a real fan. Probably be useful for electronics inside. The eye, 3 eyes. If you look in here, there's a lot of details. So I'm not sure how I'll capture all that. But I like this model as a reference because it's highly detailed. These pieces, let's see. So here's the body profile made out of cardboard. And these are 2 of the foot pieces 3D printed. The problem I'm having with the 3D printing is, these are so large and empty volumes that the corners are lifting. So I may just do this with plywood as well. The plywood's surprisingly not heavy. So I could cut all these. The trick is that each one of these joints in between these pieces have an angle that has to be, created. And either it's on a table saw or I have a bench top disc sander with a little plate that you can tilt at an angle. I tested it. It works really well for creating angles. With the small pieces, I suppose it would be okay. I don't have a table saw, so that's my problem. All right, well, that is the tour of the project thus far. All right, so that's a wrap. That's an introduction to the T3 project that I'm working on. I say too much. Cut. Try that again. All right, so that's the T3 project I'm working on. It's at a point where I've got the body panels cut. I need to do the shell around it, call it the top, the back, the neck piece. I do a lot of 3D printing and fitting the pipes, make sure they're the right size, try to figure that out. And then I think really the next steps is to get the 3D printers and get them running. I think I can. Right now the router's cutting. I'm cutting 2 sets. One to work on, construction guide, all that stuff, and the other one to send to the customer. So I guess one's for me, one's for him. All right, well, that's it. Thank you for watching. Next time. How do you stop the recording? I don't know.